Jesse Waters called out weak Republicans in his mind who are not fighting back against Joe Biden effectively. Now, I, of course, loved Joe Biden's speech. I thought some changes could have been made, but for the most part, just really, really effective and true speech he gave about the threat that MAGA poses to our democratic processes. And Jesse Waters is saying the Republican Party should fight back more against that. So we'll take a look and then discuss.
Biden wants to divide the Republican Party. And the 74 million Americans who voted for Trump are MAGA Republicans who...
So no, Biden made 1,000 caveats saying that the whole Republican Party is not MAGA. And even everyone, he didn't say this, I don't think specifically in this wording, but this is what he is alluding to. Even the 74 million point, 74 million people, all of the ones who voted for Donald Trump aren't lovers of Trump. There's a base that is, and there are other people who are like, okay, I'll vote for him. There's no cult on the left, but let's say to that extent, but let's pretend that there's a base that supports Biden. That doesn't mean that all 81 million people who voted for him are huge Biden people. A lot of people just didn't like Trump. So there's an equivalent thing where the hardcore Trump supporters are one portion of the 70 whatever million. And then a lot of people just felt like, oh, the Democratic Party is so horrible, so I got to vote for Trump.
Who don't believe in democracy. He's trying to January 6th the GOP. But what I want to know is, why aren't the Republicans fighting back? Biden raided Trump's house. The Republican Party said nothing.
Of course, Biden did not raid Trump's house. That is incredibly disgusting and dishonest.
And that's all Joe needed to know. He saw an opening, and he's going to hammer that all year. I don't know if Republicans are still on vacation or they think if they just lay low, history is going to be on their side in the midterms. But Joe Biden's laying the wood to you guys.
So I do think Biden saw an opening. Not in the way that Jesse Waters is outlining, but Biden definitely, maybe opening is the wrong word, but saw a moment where he's been pretty soft on Republicans relative to how he is now, most of his presidency, and something snapped. I think he started recognizing they have no interest in really significantly acting in good faith with him. And also maybe he got more tuned into the threat that is being posed to our democratic process. So I do think he saw the political landscape. He saw the political reality in America and just eventually decided, I'm not doing this soft hands thing anymore. I'm going hard, as I think he should have been doing the entire time. So that's not just what Jesse Waters' point, but I do think that's what Biden did. And then to Jesse Waters' point that he's making incredibly dishonestly, the Republican Party, who aren't hardcore MAGA people, do seem to have responded relatively lightly to Biden's pretty aggressive speech. And I think it's because the ones who you would consider more moderate are aware of the facts that Biden is outlining. I think they actually, in their heart of hearts, agree with what Biden is saying. And they see the distinction within their party between hardcore election denier MAGA Republicans and them more establishment Republicans. And so I think one of the most effective strategies on the left should be calling out that difference and trying to break apart the Republican Party at that seam, right? Make the establishment Republicans understand, if you want to call them that, or the more moderate Republicans, understand the true threat that's being posed to the democratic process that we should all stand for by the MAGA Republicans, and that should be called out time and time again, and try to bring away enough Republicans to take the power out of the Republican Party for now. And what I always say to conservatives who are more moderate is, listen, we can continue fighting in a little bit on all the policy issues. We can continue fighting about everything. But right now, if you believe in our democracy and you understand the threats that's being posed to it, you got to set those aside for a second and, unite with us on this, because it doesn't matter if we want to hash it out over healthcare reform if we don't have a democratic process to do that through, right? And that is what future is being kind of proposed to us by MAGA Republicans. And so it doesn't matter if you feel like conservative politics is better, because that's not even what MAGA Republicans stand for anymore. They care way more. The most important litmus test now for MAGA Republicans is, will you deny the 2020 election results? And so Jesse Waters is recognizing that Biden is kind of trying to make that divisions start happening within the Republican Party, as we all should, because it's a real division that is there. But too many moderate Republicans right now are just way too quiet on this and aren't actively pushing back in the ways that they should. And we can see that in examples like Liz Cheney, Adam Kinzinger, because they're such pariahs because they called out the danger of MAGA Republicans. And it should be so many more people than just those two who are prominent, oppositions to the MAGA movement. But interesting moment there, Jesse Watters spreading his normal dishonesty, but touching on something that's a little bit real.